Hey guys, welcome back. So today we have a 2015 Elantra. Customer complaint is stalling, so it got towed in here. Um, I I had the chance to check this car. Um, when it was warm up, the all pressure light was coming on. So right now I have an idea that what's failing right now, and the could be that our oil pump is the problem. So today we're just gonna measure our oil pressure if it's within spec and see from there. And she's also complaining about the knocking noise. Right now it's very cold. I just got this car from out the parking lot, so well, that's normal for me when it's very cold that there's slight knocking noise, but we'll see when the RR idle will be stabilized like around 800 rpm, and we're on operating temperature right now. It's still reading cold, so we'll see from there. Check our specification. So on our oil pressure at 1000 rpm, there should be 14 psi or above. So now we're gonna check that and remove our oil pressure and see from there. So now before we remove our oil pressure, I'm just gonna double check our oil and see if we have enough oil there. Looks like it's on level. So now we're gonna remove our oil pressure and we'll measure it. So our oil pressure is located there. Let me put my flashlight in there. These are oil pressure. So I'm gonna remove that. And usually one indication too for me when I suspect that there's a oil pressure problem, when I remove this, there should be at least oil flow there. But if not, meaning that there's really no oil coming up from there, right? So let me remove that quick. So we get some oil there coming out, right? So let's just double check our pressure. So we got our adapter here. I'm just using a hose here for our line to measure our oil pressure. So in these models, at least the oil pressure is accessible. Some other models is really no access for the oil pressure. It's so hard to measure that. Now I'm gonna lower the car and start the car. So I set my scope here. So I have my own reference box here that reads our transducer. I'm using a 200 psi. I don't have anything smaller, but I think we can still always see it if there's a problem. So it works 0.5 volts. That's our 0 psi, and when 200 psi, that's 4.5. So I made some measurements. It's here. So we'll measure it and see from there. I'm just gonna turn this on. So make sure that's 0.5. I'm just gonna drag this cursor because that's our baseline. At least that's our 0. So more or less 0.5. Okay. So now I'm gonna start the car and ask someone to rev it to 1000 RPM. So as you can see that it moved up. You know what? Maybe I can change the time base. So we'll see the reaction. So right now that's idling. Right. So I'm gonna rev it to 1000 RPM and see if we have some reading there. Right now it's around 1000 RPM, so I think I have to let it idle first, stabilize the idle, and then we'll see from there. At least the idle is stabilized now, so I'm gonna raise it to 1000 RPM and see if we can battle something. So I'm just gonna stop this, go back. So at this point here, this is where I go 1000 RPM. So that's 0.5, 0.7. So that's 0.7, and our measurement more or less is 10 psi, right? So that's really not a good one because the spec says 14 psi. Now what I can do too is I'm going to try to hook up the mechanical gauge and see if we have any reading from there. So as you can see on our mechanical gauge, it says there's 0 on 25 psi right away. So the increment is too big and we can't really, and when we measure on our transducer, it's just showing 10 psi. So let's say our number 1 there in a small needle, it's R more or less 14 psi. That should hit 14 if, or this needle, if we have good oil pump. So right now, okay, start the car. So as you can see, it's going to move up from 0. So can you put it on 1000 RPM? Huh? So as you can see, they're almost there. The 14, that's 25 divided by 2, at least more or less. No, 12, that's 12. So not even 12 psi is there. So I guess our transducer is reading well. I don't know if it's not accurate, because right now that's 1000 RPM? 1000? 1000? Okay, so right now that's 1000 and it doesn't even go to 12 psi. So I guess we have a problem or oil pump, and we'll advise the customer if he wants a used engine or just replacement of the oil pump, because I really don't know the history of the car, if it's been driven like this for a while. So we'll see. Okay, so welcome back. So we had a go ahead with the customer, so before I'm completing all the video, so I installed our new timing oil pump, which is part of the timing chain cover. So we're doing the same setup, putting our hose there for testing our oil pressure using our pressure transducer. So I'm just gonna put some oil on this one, warm it up, and we can do our measurement. Engine temperature is warm up, so I'm setting up my scope now. So I'm just gonna rev it to 1000 RPM and see our oil pressure. And I can still hear the knocking. Maybe it's from the oil pressure being low for a while, but so I'm holding it. Right now, my oil pressure, I was holding it, it's at least 1. So I'm now reading the 1 volt, that's at least 25 psi. So I think that's good. So it's 25 psi, and this part here where my mouse is, that's when I shut off. So we want to 0 psi. And let me just compare it. Open. Let me compare it with the one that has the problem. Okay, here. So this one was this was 0 psi, and when I rev at 2000 RPM, I was just reading 0.7, which is 10 psi. So definitely we fix our oil pump problem, oil pressure, but there's a knocking noise in the car, so it could be that it's been running low oil pressure for a while and causing that knocking issue right now. But we fix our first problem, and we'll just let the customer know that he has to drive it more, and then I have to test drive this car. That's it, guys. I know that it's a fix for oil pressure issue, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you for watching.